doing a story on a woman who got her cell phone stolen in a park, right? A guy ran up and grabbed it from her and ran away.
It was a typical day story for us, and it's evidence of how quickly the day can change for anyone.
Yeah. The crowd swelled to over 1,000 people, and then the executive producer was like, Marie and Brandon, you better go down there and help out.
We were probably in the crowd with the demonstrators for about 15-20 minutes, and we saw people chanting, holding their signs, and it was smiling, singing. So we just put our heads down and started writing the story about hundreds of people in Dallas gathering to protest police brutality.
And our hatchback was open. And then what, 8:57?
I guess. We know in hindsight, 8:57, but I knew it was right before 9.
3 days after the 4th of July, and 6 pops, right? First, a burst of 6 pops. And we just kind of, I don't even know how many seconds passed, and then another 7, 8 shots in a row.
And I think we just looked at each
other.
And
then we knew,
we knew something was happening.
I turned, and as I was turning to look back, a sea of people just ran by our car the opposite direction. I grabbed my camera, just hit record, and just ran down to Lamar, the corner of Lamar and Commerce, which we know now the shooter was a block north shooting south. Little did I know I was running right into the line of fire. And I didn't realize that until I got to the corner, and then I just heard right over the top of my head, and I hit the ground. And that's when I realized I'm in some trouble.
So my first instinct was to get as low as I possibly could in order to not be seen. So I'm in the front seat of our Toyota Highlander, and I crouched down just to where the legroom is on a passenger seat, and I got my body as tight and as low as I possibly could, thinking if somebody should walk by or be on the street, hopefully I would not be seen.
People are running up the street. I'm trying to get together just trying to stay calm and shoot some video, enough video that's usable. And as I try to set up for a shot, another shot comes up above me, and I have to drop back down again. And I hear a bullet hit literally 3-4 feet from me. So I came to my senses, and I ran back to the car as fast as I could. And I open up the door, and there's Marie completely underneath the glove box. Like, I looked at you and you looked at me, and the look on your face, I'll never forget it. Like, it was just complete horror. And we drove down to Below Garden, right? And jumped out. I grabbed my camera again, and we just started making our way to the shooting again, towards the shooting. And we passed a group of people praying and crying. People were scared. And we went into the park. A father was covering his son behind the mound, the grassy knoll mound there, in Below Garden, protecting him from whatever could have happened or will happen. I mean, everything was still so fresh and intense. I mean, it was literally 10 minutes later after the shooting started. And we get up behind this grassy hill there, which is a block and a half from Lamar. And we try to gather ourselves, right? And this whole time the cops are telling us
the suspect has a rifle.
Right.
And that moved a lot of us back.
Yeah. I mean, from start to finish to when they killed him, it was 6 hours. And we were going that whole time. And I got back to the station at 3:30 in the morning and gave them my video. And I went home, and I didn't sleep at all. I just laid there, and for 2 weeks, like, I just had this ongoing loop in my head when it was silent, of sirens, just constant for 2 weeks straight.
I had the same issues, and we had talked about it. I had a hard time sleeping, and it felt like there was this current of adrenaline that didn't leave my body until probably 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
and
2 weeks.
When I was laying in bed at night, I just thought, how many other people are like me right now who are down there and are just feeling that panic still?
Yeah. People kept asking me, everybody would come up to me and ask me, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Like, all the time. And it got into my head, like, maybe I'm not okay. I mean, like, I thought I was handling it okay, but I don't know, and I wasn't sleeping. I was hearing those sirens. You would think about it while you're alone, and I would tear up, because it was just so intense. I mean, and obviously, you know, the tremendous loss of life.
I made a point not to watch a lot of it, any of it, much after it happened, which I think helped me. And I understand in a new way, I think, what the visuals of such a scary, impactful event can do to people. And that's something that I didn't know in the way I know it now prior to the ambush.
We're in television, but every time we saw it, it was always on television. And then we lived it.
Right.
And so now we have a new appreciation for it.
We do that every day. You see clips of 9/11 all the time. You see clips of various shootings and attacks. And this was the first time that it really sank in for me how stress-inducing and hurtful repeating those visuals can be for people.
And you can get desensitized working in this business for an extended period of time, seeing a lot of bad things a lot of the time, all the time. But that one was just over the top.